Psalms, chapter 138. I'm going on the shofar. Hallelujah.
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 We'll say we're in Psalms chapter 138. We're going to say it together. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 138, verse 1. I will praise thee with my whole heart. Before the Elohim, I will sing praise unto thee. I will worship toward thy holy temple, and praise thy name for loving kindness, and for thy truth. For thou hast magnified the word above all thy name. In the day when I cried, thou answerest me, and strengthened me with strength in my soul. All the kings of earth shall praise thee, O Yahoshua, when they hear the words of thy mouth. Yea, they shall sing in the ways of Yahoshua, for great is the glory of Yahoshua. Though Yahoshua be high, yet he hath respect unto the lowly, but the proud he knoweth afar off. Though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me. Thou shalt stretch forth thy hand against the wrath of my enemies, and thy right hand shall save me. Yahoshua perfect, that which concerneth his mercy. Thy mercy, O Yahoshua, endureth forever. Forsake not the works of thy own hands. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Next we'll be saying the Ten Commandments in the ancient. So you repeat after me. Cain.
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 La'ah.
La'ah.
Yahaya.
Yahaya.
Lakah.
Lakah.
La'ayam.
La'ayam.
Akaryam.
Akaryam.
Ah.
Ah.
Haya.
Haya.
La'ah.
La'ah.
La'ash.
La'ash.
Lakah.
Lakah.
Pasal.
Pasal.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Labadam.
Labadam.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Lakwai'ah.
La'ah.
Sham.
Sham.
Yahoah.
Yahoah.
Ashawah.
Ashawah.
Zakar.
Zakar.
Hayawam.
Hayawam.
Ashabath.
Ashabath.
Lakwadashwa.
Lakwadashwa.
Kabad.
Kabad.
Abakah.
Abakah.
Wa'amakah.
Wa'amakah.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Baratz Tazak.
La'ah.
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 Lana'ah.
La'ah.
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 Laganah.
La'ah.
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 La'anah.
La'ah.
Shakar.
Shakar.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Lakadma.
Lakadma.
Call.
Call.
Asherah.
Asherah.
Larakah.
Larakah.
Amen.
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 Amen. Repeat after me, and then saying, Abinu.
Abinu.
Sheba Shemayim.
Sheba Shemayim.
Yed Kodesh.
Yed Kodesh.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Tabo.
Tabo.
Makuteka.
Makuteka.
Yase.
Yase.
Rizonka.
Rizonka.
Keba Shemayim.
Keba Shemayim.
Gamba Adis.
Gamba Adis.
Teilanu.
Teilanu.
Et Lekim.
Et Lekim.
Zarkanu.
Zarkanu.
Ayon.
Ayon.
Makah.
Makah.
Lenu It.
Lenu It.
Hobotengu.
Hobotengu.
Kemo Shigan.
Kemo Shigan.
Anapnu.
Anapnu.
Makanu.
Makanu.
Lekavienu.
Lekavienu.
Wa'atavienu.
Wa'atavienu.
Ledenisiyon.
Ledenisiyon.
Elah.
Elah.
Hatilenu.
Hatilenu.
Minhara.
Minhara.
Hishalka.
Hishalka.
Hihamaku.
Hihamaku.
Wahagabora.
Wahagabora.
Wahatafela.
Wahatafela.
Leomei.
Leomei.
Olamim.
Olamim.
Bashem Yahoshua.
Bashem Yahoshua.
Hallelujah.
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 Father Yah, we come to you today and ask you, Bavakasha, Father, we ask you for covering. We ask you for blessings. Shamar Lanu, Father, we ask you for coverings, Father. As we come into your Yom HaShabbat, your holy Shabbat day, Father, I ask that you just guard us and protect us from all evil. Protect us from the ones even within our own community, within that has the same flesh, Father. Protect us from all those who oppose your children. For we come to you on this Shabbat day to put all iniquities, to put all sins away from us, Father, and dwell with you and connect with you on this holy Shabbat day. As we go into the Chag Purim, Feast of Purim tomorrow, Father, let us be in remembrance of what our forefathers, even our foremothers, did for us, Father. For we're in a time of travail, we're in a time of signs, Father. And I pray that the Eladim and Israel are paying attention to these, Father. For these are the same signs that you showed us in Mizraim before the great coming, before the destruction of Mizraim, Father. And as you gather your saints before the decree, may it all be in righteousness, may it all be in glory, may it all be in truth and sincerity of you, O Father. For Yahoshua did not shed his blood for no reason. So as the saints of Yah, let us not do work in vanity. For you called us to be a living sacrifice. For you called us the Mezrei Yah, the servants of Yah, Father. So let us do your will in all dignity. Let's do your will in all diligently, Father. And I pray that each and every one of us that's in this room, that's scattered abroad, that's to and fro, that we are all seeking your face and your voice in all things that we do. Zadik Shafu Goyim, Father. Bring righteous judgment upon those Gentiles and heathens that put their hand upon your children. For you said, what has been shall be again, Father. For you said you are a just Elohim, Father. For you are our Elohim, our Elohim, Father. So I'm calling unto you today, Father, to redeem us from this captivity. Redeem us from this oppression. Redeem us from our iniquity that we committed. Redeem us for the sins that we are paying for our forefathers. For we have sinned. We have done perversely. We have committed wickedness against thee, O Father, and we repent. We repent, Father. Salak Lanu, forgive us, O Heavenly Father. Remember us, Zakar Lanu. Remember your children, O Elohim. For we call upon you in the time of travail when our brothers and sisters are getting shot down, Father. Where our sisters are in the home taking care of children by themselves, oh Father. Where our brothers is in the penitentiary trying to find a way out, Father. Please return us back to Eretz Jerusalem, the land of our forefathers, the land of our peace and our shalom. Return us back to Sion, Father. For we are ready, Father. We hope that we are worthy for you to even hear our prayers as a sweet incense, Father, that you once listened to in the temple, Father. And may this lesson be giving you all glory and honor. May the prophetical signs of Yahoshua show through your servants, Father. Let Kohan Aharon be an example, Father, of what the example Yahoshua will set for our people. And let the tears run down. Let the sorrows get laid low. And let the joyful happiness and redemption of the children of Israel, of Yasha Allah, come forth, Father. In all things we pray in Yahoshua's name. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so on earth. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. By Hashem Yahoshua. Hallelujah. Amen. All praise to Yah. All praise to Yah. All praise to Yah. So everybody continue to stand as we go into our praise and worship. And I want y'all to really understand the point of praise, the point of worship, the point of really singing to Yah. That cry that he heard in Mizraim in Egypt wasn't us praising to him. It was us singing to him, asking him for our deliverance, as we are now.
Hallelujah.
This is the thing they took away from us in captivity, if y'all don't know. They took away our drumming. They took away our singing. They took away our chants. They took away our praises, our prayers. And any man or woman tried to do it, they would cut their tongues out. So we owe it to our forefathers and foremothers who were sacrificed for that purpose to redeem back what was ours. From our culture, from our language, from our heritage, our identity. It's time we take it back. And it's time we continue to give all glory to the Father. Amen? Amen. Alright, so today we're going to sing Shema. So if you all have an instrument, you can definitely clap your hands and try to go along. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Don't be nervous. It's praise. This is who we are. Come on, put your hands together. Come on. right, y'all. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I want to say, Toda, welcome to our new family who came. Check us out. I hope y'all definitely, through us, bring a powerful message. And just enjoy yourself. Kick back. As far as questions, what we'll do is we'll ask questions here and there, but we'll try to save the questions to the end, okay? All right, so Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. So we just ended our praise and worship section, giving all praises and glory to Yah and His only begotten Son. I just honestly think it's important, man. We take back everything. You know, it's okay just to understand who you are. That's cool. But to really take back everything, you're taking back nation. You're taking back a nation who you are, and that's the goal. Yah told us to return back to our inheritance. And this is our inheritance. The culture, the language, how we dress, everything. So we owe it to ourselves to learn these things and do these things because Yah gave it to us specifically to do. Okay? All right, so today's lesson is called The Burden of Yahoshua Through the Reflection of Aaron. And reason I'm doing this lesson because as I was reading through, we don't realize how in depth Yahoshua was prophesied through the Old Testament. You know, he was prophesied very thoroughly through the Old Testament, through the prophets, you know, through Moses and Aaron and all them, through the children of Israel. And if we're going to call ourselves children of Israel, he told us to seek out prophecies. And a lot of the prophecies is in the Old Testament. So I want to go through this to even break down. I was reading through Aharon, that's Aaron in Hebrew. I was reading through him and his sons and how they created his garments and the significance of his garments, right? And everything that they made him had everything to do with Yahoshua, his purpose for coming in the flesh. So today we're going to start there. Can you give me and if y'all have precepts while we're talking, definitely bring that out too. Let's start at John 8:32. John 8:32. Yahoshua 8:32.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
Come on.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And what did Yahoshua refer to himself as?
The truth and the life.
The truth and the life. So to understand Yahoshua, to understand his purpose, even before he was here, you have to go back to the ancients and see. So today we're gonna go through Aaron, right? He was the high priest. We go through Aaron and how he is relatable to Yahoshua and how he prophesied. So we're gonna start at Exodus. We're gonna be pretty much in Exodus chapter 28 the whole entire time. We did precepts through that though. So Exodus chapter 28, verse 1.
Exodus chapter 28, verse 31. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be an hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof.
You know, Exodus 28. No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Exodus 28:1.
Okay. And, excuse me, Slakia. Exodus 28, verse 1. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Now, mind you, minister, Mazaret. In Hebrew, minister, Mazaret means to teach. You're in a high position to teach the people, right? That's the first sign. You're at a high position to teach people. Remember, during that time, who only could teach the children of Israel?
Priest.
The priests, right? It wasn't Judah. It wasn't Ephraim. It wasn't Benjamin. It was a specific people who was assigned to that position. And a lot of the time, because a lot of these things that we have set up now, we don't have the same thing back then. So we think we could just take on these positions when the Most High ordained a specific people to take them on. Right? And if that's the case, If you're calling yourself a priest outside of this, that means we can be coming to sacrifice unto you. We should be able to come sacrifice. We should be able to bring our bullock, our lamb, whatever, and sacrifice unto you. Right?
Okay.
Come on.
Even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, Ithamar, and Aaron's sons.
Come on.
And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron, thy brother, for glory and for beauty.
Pay attention to those words. Holy, glory, and beauty. Come on.
And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom.
Come on.
That they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him.
To consecrate him. What does consecrate mean? Somebody look that up real quick. Consecrate. Or if you know what it means already. What does consecrate mean?
Set apart to make holy.
Hallelujah. Consecrate means to set apart and to make holy. Right? So, this is what's declared upon the children of Israel. That we should make consecrated garments for Aaron. This was the work of being a minister. And this is, when you are a minister, these are the garments that you should be wearing. But understand, we're going to go into depth. Only certain individuals was allowed to wear this. And if you didn't have that clean heart and was pure, like he said, set apart, you could die. It was certain things that we weren't allowed to, like the anointing oil. If you weren't in that certain position, and from that lineage, and you tried to create this certain oil, you would die if you tried to put it on. Even they made perfume. You put this perfume on that's only made for Yah, and you tried to put it on yourself to make yourself feel beautified, you would die. So it was certain things and certain positions only created for certain people. The high priesthood was for who? The Levites. Right? Come on.
That he may minister unto me in the priest office.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe,
right,
and broidered coat, a mitre, and girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron, thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office.
Now stop. So it seems like there was actually steps before declaring who was in this position, right? It's certain things that you actually had to obtain before in this position. There's certain things that need to be created for you to even fit into this position, okay? Right? So what do you think those steps are? What are those steps? To be a minister, to call yourself a minister or priest, what are the steps that you must take before stepping into that role? Really both. Anointing. Studying under somebody, that's kind of one of them natural things you know you should be doing anyway, right? Let's see. Let's go to Leviticus chapter. I'm sorry, not Leviticus. Exodus chapter 29. We're gonna start at 1, and then yes, Exodus chapter 29, verse 1, and then Micah, can you give me 1 Peter 1 and 19? Go ahead.
And this is Exodus 29, chapter 29, verse 1. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them, to minister unto me in the priest office.
So watch that. He said, this is the thing that thou shalt do. He's making the declaration. This is what you shall do to make those people holy so that they'll be able to minister unto me in the priest office. Come on.
Take one young bullock. And 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread, and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed with oil. Of wheaten flour shalt thou make them.
So now he said, this, you have to be a person who's willing to sacrifice. Right? And we discussed this with in another lesson, right? That the first steps of even coming closer to Yah is what? You have to be willing to step through the door and sacrifice. Right? We have to start putting spiritual eyes on to see this thing. So the first step is sacrifice. You got 1 Peter 1:19? Come on.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 19. But with the precious blood of the Hamashiach, as of the Lamb without blemish and without spot,
Come on.
who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do believe in Elohim, that raised him up from the dead, and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Elohim. Seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit, the Ruach, unto unfeigned love of the brethren.
Start right there. That's our sacrifice today. See, he already gave us the sacrifice. He did the sacrifice for us now, right? So the first step to getting into this role or getting closer to Yah was sacrifice. Yahoshua knocked that out the park for us already. I did that part for you, so you good. So now let's see what the next step is. Come on.
And thou shalt put them into one basket, and bring them in the basket with the bullock and the 2 rams.
Mikey, give me Matthew, Yahu, chapter 3. We're going to start at 13, and you can go to 17. But hold that for me. You go ahead.
And Aaron and his sons thou shalt bring unto the door of the tabernacle.
What? Bring unto the door. Come on.
Of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now, that was the first step. Now, watch this. What's the second
step?
step?
And shall wash them with water.
And shall wash them with water. So we have a lot of people who saying we should not be immersed or baptized. That's not the washing. That's not the washing. They believe it's just the word. And we're going to go into depth on that too. So the first step was what? Sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice. In this point in time, we're talking about actual sacrifice. Second step was what? Now pay attention. This is the high priest. Does this seem like some of the stuff Yahoshua took? Right? Matthew Yahu, chapter 3, verse 13.
The book of Matthew, chapter 3, verse 13.
Come on.
Then come Yahoshua from Galilee to Jordan unto John to be baptized of him.
To be what?
To be baptized of him.
With what? Come on.
But John forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me? And Yahoshua answering said unto him, Suffer it to be so now, but thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness.
To fulfill what?
All righteousness.
Come on.
Then he suffered him. And Yahoshua, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water. And lo, behold, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of Elohim descending like a dove.
Hold on. So did the Spirit come on him before the washing of the water, or did the Ruach come after? Before these priests came to Yah in his presence, what did they have to do?
Prepare the sacrifice.
After that,
Wash.
they had to wash themselves. So you got a lot of people who are denying that we don't have to get immersed. But it seems to me, as you read through the scripture, the Ruach came upon them after the washing. When Peter went to those people who came, and those dozens of people who came to him, he tell you what? He said, you need to repent and then be immersed. And as all of them got immersed, then the Ruach HaKodesh will pour upon all of them. Right? We have to see the symbolism, and the tabernacle is a great place to start of symbolism and prophecy. The tabernacle alone is prophecy. And we're going to go more into depth. So the first step was what? Sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice. How many, and you know what's funny? There's so many so-called priests out here that don't believe in the washing of water. How is that when these were steps that the priests had to take? Yahoshua didn't do away with the duty of the Levites as far as the steps you have to take to fill his position. He did away with sin sacrifice. So that means some of these steps still stands. See, we hear sacrifice, we think even every sacrifice is done away with, and it's not. Let's keep reading.
And thou shalt take the garments and put upon Aaron the coat and the robe of the ephod.
Come on.
And the ephod and the breastplate, and gird him with the curious girdle of the ephod.
Hold on, so you telling me he had to get washed before even putting on these holy garments? Before taking the response, because this is what these garments represent, responsibility. So before he took this responsibility, they had to be washed. They had to be willing to sacrifice. Because we know in Israel, not every man got the gut to sacrifice his life. Right? That's for a fact. Every man ain't the same. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But everybody got their portion. Everybody's not a teacher. Everybody's not a soldier. Everybody's not a bishop, a deacon. You play your part. Right? Let's keep going.
And thou shalt put the meat tree upon his head.
Pay attention, come on.
And put the holy crown upon the meat tree. Then shalt thou take the anointing oil.
Then shall I take the anointing oil, come on.
And pour it upon his head.
And pour it upon his head.
And
Micah, give me Hebrews chapter 2. I want you to read verse 9 and 11. And then give me Luke chapter 4, verse 17 and 19.
Chapter 4, verse 17. For what?
Luke chapter 4, verse 17 and 19.
You want Luke, John?
Yeah. Go on real quick. You read that again, what you just read.
And thou shalt put the meat tree upon his head, and put the holy crown upon the meat tree. Then shalt thou take the anointing oil, and pour it upon his head, and anoint him.
Stop right there. Hebrews.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 9.
Come on.
But we see Yahoshua, who was made a little lower than the angels
Pay
for
attention.
suffering of death,
Come on.
crowned with glory.
Crowned with what?
Crowned with glory and honor.
What did we remember when we read in 28? It said, and thou shalt make holy garments of Aaron, thy brother, for glory and for beauty. This is what this represented. These are the garments that Yahoshua himself wore. Come on.
That he made by the grace of Elohim
Come on.
should taste death for every man. For it became him, for whom all things, and by whom all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings.
Is that right there? So you see, Yahoshua took on the priesthood, and he also took on himself to be the sacrifice. This was speaking of him. When they talk about glory and beauty, that was talking about them. When they put on the holy garments, and it was meant to represent glory and beauty, they was putting on his ruach. They was putting on the ruach of Yahoshua, and this is the path that they were going to take. Right? And in this day and time, are we not all called to be just as perfect as Yahoshua? Luke 4, 17.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 17. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Yahoshua.
Pay attention.
And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, the Ruach of Adonai Elohim is upon me, because Yahuwah hath anointed me to preach the gospel unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted.
This is the duty of the priest. Come on.
To proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah. And he closed the book, and he gave it again to the minister and sat down. And the eyes of all them that were in the congregation were fastened on him.
Stop right there. Now you got to ask yourself, for those who call themselves priests, did these priests teach hate? Did they teach hate? No. I'm talking about the time. I'm not talking about the Pharisees. I'm talking about the time Aaron down even to Yahoshua taking on this position. Did they teach hate?
No.
They did not. This tell you right here. Read that again, verse 17.
And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Yahoshua. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written.
Keep going.
And the Ruach of Adonai Elohim is upon me.
This was the Ruach. Come on.
Because Yahoshua hath anointed me to preach the gospel unto the meek.
This is what happens when you become anointed. This is a position you must take. Come on.
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Right.
To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahoshua.
Start right there. Now let's hop back over to Exodus 28. These were the signs of Yahoshua. Right? This is the signs of Yahoshua before he's placed on the earth. Exodus 28:5.
Exodus 28:5.
Come on.
And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. And they shall make an ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cunning work.
Start right there. What does gold represent? What does gold represent? Anybody?
Most high.
Value. What else? Don't think too deep. I'm just asking what gold represents. Anybody? Pure, rare, yes. What else? So gold, give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 6. So gold represents love, it represents compassion. Gold also represents the spirit, right? And it represents wisdom. So you got to understand this thing, come on.
That was a chapter again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 6.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 6.
Come on.
As gold in the furnace has he tried them and received them as a burnt offering.
As a what?
Burnt offering.
You get it? Come on.
And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble.
That's the end of 6.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Verse 7.
So that's the representation of gold, right? Many are called, few are what? You know, the chosen is going to be gold. You got 3 types of Hebrews. You got gold, you got silver, you got brass. These are all representations of people's spirits, right? Gold is those without a shadow of a doubt going to do anything for Yah and will die for Yah and will stand up even to his brethren in the flesh for Yah's glory. Silver are those who, you know, I'm a Hebrew, I do the works, but they're minimal, very minimal. They do the works, they go out, they do certain things, but to go above and beyond for the kingdom's sake, they will not do. Brass. Brass is just those who know they're Hebrews, and that's it. It goes no further than that. So you even have to ask yourself in this time, what type of spirit do you have? You have a spirit of gold, silver, or brass. And Yahoshua had the spirit of gold. And this is the spirit we have to try to obtain. And this is the burden that you will take on, understanding his footsteps.
Okay.
Come on. The next color was blue. What does blue represent? Nah, think about it. What does it represent? What's it? Y'all think it too deep? Water, the Ruach. What
The
else?
heavens.
Good one. Yes. The heavens, the Shamayim. What up? So blue represents depth, stability. Represents loyalty. It represents truth. And it represents the heavens. Because somebody give me 1 Peter 1:7, Aki, if you can give me. Or Mikey, you give me John 1. We're going to start at verse 14 and 17. And you give me 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7. Yaakov, you can go first. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7.
And while they're trying to find that, and what is the most conductive metal within, let's say, the periodic table? Gold. Gold is the most conductive where energy can actually flow through. That's the most purest metal that energy can actually be conducted through. That's why you see most, like you'll see even some of the most expensive connectors on, like, let's say, plugs that go to TVs. They actually have a gold, they're plated with gold, because that metal is the most conductive. And so gold is lots of times when Yah uses gold as a way of being refined, he has to take impurities out of gold. So even us ourselves can be symbolic of blood, symbolic of gold, where his spirit can actually flow through his life, his energy. So he'll refine us. But just like he refined, he proved his word, right? And he said it came out pure as gold. He refines us by way of his word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So we got gold, right? Gold was a representation of the burden that he would take on. The sacrifice and persecution that he had take on for having in such high position. And we got blue, right? For the gold, though, you got that from me, 1 Peter 1 and 7.
All right, it's the book of 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7.
Come on.
That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise.
Watch this.
And honor and glory at the appearing of Yahoshua HaMashiach.
That's what that gold represented. You taking on the same burden that Yahoshua was willing to take on. And that was a representation that was put on the shoulders of, not the shoulder, but put on the garment of Aaron. He was willing to be that sacrifice if needed. Right? So now we got blue. John 1:14, and we're going to read to 17.
Book of John, chapter 1, verse 14.
Come on.
And the Word was made flesh.
Come on.
And dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, and the glory as of only one begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him, and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me.
Come on.
For he was before me. And of his fullness have all we received. In grace. For the law, the Torah, was given by Moshe. But grace and truth came by Yahoshua.
Hallelujah. And that's what blue represents. Is the grace that he will bestow upon the people and the truth that he was. This was a representation of Yahoshua. These pieces, the pieces of the body, right? These were the pieces of the body that made Yahoshua. Now, the next color was purple. And that goes with what the sister said. What did you say earlier? I think we were talking about blue. Right. Purple represents royalty. It represents power. It represents peace, devotion. And it also represents a mystery. Right? Aki, give me Matthew 24. We're going to start at 30 and 31. Before we go any further, anybody got any questions? Okay.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30.
Come on.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with great sound of a trumpet. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
Start right there, and that's what purple represents. It represented his power and his glory that he would take on for being this living sacrifice for us. All right? So let's, the next color was scarlet. Now, y'all should probably pretty much know what scarlet is.
Blood.
Blood. Very simple. Represents the blood that he spilled for our sakes. Give me Hebrews 13 and you, Michael. You give me Hebrews 13 and 12. You give me actually you can just because it's in the same chapter. You give me Hebrews 8, 6. Hebrews 13 and 12. And this is the beautiful thing about these books, man. Right? Most Yahoshua said that those who have no understanding, he talks in parables. And those who do have understanding, who's truly seeking with their heart, he didn't need to. Why? Because it was clear as day what he was trying to do. It was clear as day his purpose to those who was truly trying to see him for what he was. But for those who didn't understand it, that's why some people can't even understand this book. It's literally levels to this book. As you grow, your understanding becomes more clear. That's why he says, study thyself approved, right? Seek diligently. And seek him early. Because we're in a time where we don't have no time to waste. And if you're not giving your all, your effort and time, you're going to miss the mystery that he was trying to show you this whole time. That however long you've been on this earth, that you missed. Because our parents was not given this. So that's why you have to, even with the Old Testament, and a lot of Old Testament can be just straight cut, right? Straight simple. But when you start understanding the spiritual side, things are going to start clicking, even going down to in Genesis, right? John 1:1 said what? In the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was with God, and the Word was God, right? Then you go down to, what's that? I believe it's Hebrews, if not, Salika. Yahoshua said he came in a volume of the book. So now you understand when they talk about the angels in the beginning who was coming to the prophets, who was coming to the people and speaking to them, you understand that was who? Yahoshua. Right? It's time to get those scales off our eyes and really be open to spiritual things. But understand this, when you step into that role, sacrifice is going to be made. And you got to be willing to do it. So do we really want to go walk around calling ourselves a priest? Can't be a priest and be unclean. Spiritually and physically. Come on. Man out.
Forgive me, but in this one, when it says the world, that be Aharon, or would that be Job?
In Hebrews? You got, what, 13, 12?
13, 6.
No, you in Hebrews 13, 12. And that would be Adonai.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 12. Wherefore Yahoshua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate.
Suffered without the gate. Come on, hop down to 20.
Now, the Elohim of peace, that brought again from the dead our Adonai, Yahoshua, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant.
And that's what he was carrying on his shoulder. That's what he was carrying with him, the covenant. He was the one that was going to get us to the covenant. He was the priest and he was the sacrifice that was going to allow us to be able to keep and reconnect with the covenant. There was not going to be any other way, right? Through him we get to the Father, right? He's the mediator of us to the Father. Why? Because when he was not here, we constantly turned our back to him. We constantly said, give us another Elohim. We constantly disobeyed. And what's the purpose of a mediator? If you have two couples that go to a mediator, what's the purpose of that mediator? Connect you back together. For y'all to be able to reason with one another. Because clearly y'all two by yourself, it was not working. And it wasn't working for us in y'all. Right? It got to the point we say, oh, Moshe, we don't even want to hear y'all's voice. You speak through us. You speak to us through him. Right? Hebrews 8, 6. You're going to read 6 through 13.
This is the book of Hebrews. You said chapter 8?
Yeah.
Chapter 8, verse 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator for a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
Come on.
For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days come, saith Behold, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Now, according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, which by my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Jehovah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
This was the covenant that he put on. This was the covenant that he came to give us. We just had to be able to receive it. We had to want to receive it. Because Aaron was sacrificing too much for us. Too many animals was dying for our sins. And it got to the point where we weren't sacrificing because we truly felt like we wanted to repent. But we said, oh, this is a cop-out. That's all we need. Just sacrifice an animal and we good. We truly didn't mean it in our heart. So Yahoshua came back to be that example, like, I'm going to show y'all that a man can't do this in y'all flesh. Because I'm all spirit. I'm going to show y'all a man in the flesh can keep this law perfectly. And I'm going to show y'all a spirit of gold. Because clearly y'all have not seen one lately. Come on.
After those days, saith Jehovah, I will put my Torah in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
Come on.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Jehovah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest.
Come on.
For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. And that he saith, a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
Come on.
Chapter 9, verse 1.
I'll stop right there. So you see, he was just saying, like, we tried the old way. We tried the old way, it didn't work. So I'm going to give y'all a new way if you're willing to keep it, if you're willing to take it. But it ain't going to be easy when you take this. He told us in Sirach 2. Prepare thyself for temptation, for you shall get tried as gold. Everybody is going to get tried. And the question is, are you going to put on that sackcloth, or are you going to put on fine linen? Right? So let's go back to Exodus chapter 28, verse 5. Mikey, you give me Matthew 17 and 2.
Exodus 28, chapter 28, verse 5.
Come on.
And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen.
And fine linen, start right there. Why is fine linen so important in this passage? What does it represent? What does fine linen represent? Fine linen was the purest form of fabric you could ever wear. Purest. And when you read through the scripture, it's only specific people who ever got to wear this garment. Right? Specific people. It's the purest and whitest fabric you can have. And if you look it up, it's very, very expensive. Very expensive. But we know if it ain't made by our hands or y'all's hands, it ain't the true fine linen. But nevertheless, the purpose of the fine linen was a representation of this person's spirit. His holiness. Right? Now, it's only a few times you'll see this. What's the first time? Clearly, the first time is Aaron. Second time is what? Yahoshua. The third time is what? We'll get there. Matthew 17, 2.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 2.
Come on.
It was transfigured before them.
Start at verse 1. I'm sorry, Aki.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 1. And after 6 days, Yahoshua taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them into the high mountain apart. It was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moshe and Elijah.
That right there. And that's what that garment represents. It is a transfiguration of a person's spirit. Somebody born again. Somebody truly in the Ruach. Right? Now, fine linen, again, I told you it's the purest form of fabric. Let me give Revelations 19:7. These garments represent purity. So do you think Israel today should be eligible to wear these type of garments? Not at all, right? We're not worthy of it. But those who endure to the end, let's see. Revelations 19, let's start at verse 7 and we're going to end at 8. Revelations 19, we got it. Revelation 19, okay.
The book of Revelations, chapter 19.
Come on.
Verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice.
Come on.
And give honor to him.
Mm-hmm.
For the marriage of the Lamb is come.
Come on.
And his wife hath made herself ready.
Right. Stay right there. Why do you think we wear white garments to a wedding? You got to understand, this heathen know this Bible. They're getting this from the scriptures. Only time you ever see a marriage besides the heathen custom is when Yahoshua has come to adorn his wife, which is who? Israel. So this is the garments we shall wear in our connection back with Yah. Come on.
And to her was granted that she should be arrayed with fine linen.
Come on.
Clean and white.
Right.
For the fine linen is the righteous of saints.
For the fine linen is only for the righteous of the saints. Period. This is the goal we all should have. I mean, raise your hand. Do you want that white raiment? Ain't gonna be nothing like it. Ain't gonna have that clothing that make your skin itch or nothing. How down to verse 13?
And he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood.
Come on.
And his name was called the Word of Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
And the armies which were in heaven,
come on, bring it up,
followed him upon white horses.
Even the horses was white. Come on.
Clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
This is the glory of the saints. How is it that Aaron is wearing these garments? Few are chosen, right? So if the white garments are only for the chosen, again, why does Aaron get to wear the garments? Because this is a prophecy. Remember, the tabernacle was a figure of the kingdom to come. Aaron was a figure of the Messiah to come. So he had to put on these garments as an example of what's to come. This was not meant for them in that time. This was for us and those before us to see and say, somebody's coming. How can a regular man be able to take on this burden? Somebody had to be an example. Come on now. Give me so now I want to go into this. Reason being is because before Aaron was Levi, right? So let's see what Levi had to do before he even went to the temple. This is the Testament of Levi. Yo, just hold me real quick out. And this, you can get these documents online if you don't have a Testament of Levi. So we need the Testament of Levi. This is the Testament of Levi, chapter 8, verse 1. Y'all can just follow on what I'm saying. And now this is Levi having a vision of himself before actually being ordained as a high priest, right? So it says, and there again I saw a vision, even as the former, after we had spent there 70 days. And I saw 7 men in white raiment, saying unto me, arise, put on the robe of the priesthood, and the crown of righteousness, the breastplate of understanding, and the garment of truth, and the plate of faith, and the turban of the head, and the ephod of prophecy. And they severally carried these things and put them on me, and said unto me, for henceforth become a priest of Yahuwah, thou and thy seed forever. Now, this is only for who? the Levites. So how do we have brothers that's calling themselves priests and not of the Levitical line? When they was talking about, when he said to the children of Israel, I should give you a lineage of king and priest, that didn't mean everybody. That mean who? Levi and Yahoshua, right? But he told you, what did he say in the New Testament? That this lineage was not spoke of, right? That somebody from another tribe shall become then a priest. Prophetically. Watch this. So he said, verse 4, and the first anointed me with holy oil and gave to me the staff of judgment. Remember we were talking about Ezekiel, that rod? The second washed me with pure water and fed me with the bread and wine, even the most holy things, and clad me with a holy and glorious robe. The third clothed me with a linen vestment like an ephod. The fourth put round me a girdle like unto purple. The fifth gave me a branch of rich olive. And if you know anything about that, when you put olive on a branch, it grows richly. Right? The sixth placed a crown on my head. The seventh placed on my head a diadem of priesthood, and filled my hands with incense, that I might serve as priest to Yahuwah Elohim. And they said to me, Louis, thy seed shall be divided into 3 offices, for a sign of the. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Who's considered the glory and truth? Yahoshua. It said, and they said to me, Louis, thy seed shall be divided into 3 offices, for a sign of the glory of Yahuwah who is to come. That was the whole purpose of the Levitical priests. They were the examples of who was to come and give us salvation. Most High is truly beautiful, isn't it?
He's probably already going to go there, right? Will you go to Revelation 19 and 10?
We can go there. We can go there real quick. Go ahead. You can read that.
Okay. Revelations 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahoshua. Worship Elohim, for the testimony of Yahoshua is the spirit of prophecy.
Break that down.
Hallelujah. Well, we see right here, he said the worship for Elohim, for the testimony of Yahoshua is the spirit of prophecy. So everything in the old is a testament of him that's to come. Everything reflects him. You know, even now, even the place where we're at, and even the ones to come, when he comes back as the king of Israel, right? So everything, so Aaron's garments, the tabernacle, all of this is indicative of Yahoshua, right? Because all these are figures of things to come.
Yes.
And so, as you just read in the book of Levi, the Testament of Levi, it said of Yahuwah who is to come. And he comes in the person of his word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hebrews 5 and 1. Most High is truly beautiful. This is why it's so imperative for us to study diligently, because he starts revealing his secrets. It's just like a man and a woman dealing with each other. The more diligent you are to spend time and share things with them and be with them, the more they start to open up and tell you about themselves. That's why it was 3 parts to the tabernacle. You got the court, you got the holy place, and you got the most holy place. And as you get deeper, lesser people can go in. We have a choice. Do you want to stay at the door of the tabernacle, or do you want to go to the most holy? I want to go to the most holy, right?
Okay.
Hebrews 5 and 1. Oh, we got that.
book of Hebrews, chapter 5, verse 1.
Come on.
For every high priest, taken from among
I'm sorry,
men.
Shalika. I'm so. No, you're right. I'm wrong. Yeah, Hebrews 5:1. I was in the wrong place. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For every high priest, taken from among men, is ordained for men in things pertaining to Elohim,
Come on.
that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way?
Now watch this. Now I want y'all to really think about how we bring out the word today. Read that one more time. Verse 2.
Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them?
Who can have compassion for the ignorant? Do you think today, honestly, as a nation, as us brothers going the street, we have compassion for the ignorant? Not at all. We don't. We say we do because we're bringing out the word. But it's a certain way you bring out the word. Even Yahoshua was compassionate to the Canaanite woman. See, Israel has a problem with humbling themselves. That's why he told the Canaanite woman, your faith is far more than I've ever even seen in Israel. Come on now, man. We got to stop looking at this with two eyes. And he told us to look at it as in a single eye. It's very simple how Yahoshua came. He set a very good example that was easy to follow if you had the heart to actually follow. We make things harder than what it need to be. Period. Come on.
And on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with infirmity.
Why? Because he said, what ye shall do to others shall be done unto you. The same judgment you judge others shall be measured unto you. The same compassion and glory you give to others shall be given to you. Right? He's a just Elohim. Yahoshua said what? You had as it is written, an eye for an eye, right? But I say unto you, if thy enemy shall strike thee on the right, turn the other cheek. Because who gets the vengeance? It's very simple, right? That's why he came to set the example, because we tried to take things into our own hands and it never worked out for us. It never worked out for us. And we think it's going to work out today. It's not. A nation divided is a nation not at all. Come on, bring that up.
And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Elohim.
That was what?
As was Aaron.
Woo, come on. Come on.
So also, Yahoshua glorified not himself to be made an high priest.
He didn't go around saying, I'm priest Yahoshua. I'm priest Yahushua, Yeshua, Yahushua. He didn't go around saying that. His works glorify him and the people glorify him. It tells you, boast not thyself, but let thy neighbor exalt you. And we don't see that enough in Israel, man. We gotta be seen. We gotta be the ones saying, we gotta promote ourselves, just like we did in the world. That's not what this truth is about, man. Come on.
But he that said unto him, thou art my son, today have I begotten thee.
He said, today, when you take this road, today I have begotten you. Come on.
As he saith also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Yep, come on.
Who in the days of his flesh,
come on,
when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying,
come on,
and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared.
Come on.
Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
He learned from his mistakes. He learned from the trials that was put upon him how to handle the people. If you know you don't like to be talked to a certain way, why are you talking to others like that? If you don't like to be treated a certain way, why are you treating people like that? This was the prophetical example that Yahoshua was set for. Come on, Mike.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him.
Ooh, come on.
Called of Elohim and high priest, after the order of Melchizedek,
come on,
of whom We have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing.
And that's what Israel, we dull of hearing. We don't even understand the prophecy of the garments. We don't understand the symbolism that they were set for. Because our eyes continue to have the scales because we have hate in our heart. We want to be something that we wasn't in the world. Come on.
But when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which to be first principles of the oracles of Elohim.
And that's the problem. A lot of people, once they become teachers, they feel like nobody have to teach them no more. He said, seek out the elders at their doorstep. How is it that you don't need a teacher, no elder no more? Yahoshua had elders. David had elders. Moshe had elders. Come on now.
And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Start right there. Oh, no, keep on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Come on.
For he is a babe.
Keep going.
But strong meat belonging to them that are of full age.
Does that mean physical age? No. That means when you're actually, your spirit is ready to take on what God is trying to give you. Because too many people have made themselves teachers off milk. How can you be a teacher and you still on the breast? That don't make no sense. But he said those who are ready, right? Wean from milk, ready to take on the strong meat, ready to take on this burden. Then we got something to talk about. Come on, Mike.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
So if you can't understand the simple things of discerning when people shouldn't even be around you, or you can't discern how you go about dealing with a situation, what you say?
Bad doctrine.
Bad doctrine. You're still a babe. You're still a babe. Period. You may have a lot of people coming to follow you, right? But he said even the tares grow with the wheat. So if you're not able to discern these things, you're not ready to take on the responsibility as a priest or as a minister, as a teacher at all. Are you willing to take the blows? Right? Because it's going to be false reports made about you. It's going to be bad sayings about you, both truth and false. But are you going to let the falsehood knock you down? Because truth, you can understand, you can grow from. But I guarantee down this road, just like Yahoshua, it was more false reports than true reports. Are you going to be able to withstand something? You got to understand, those who put out the false reports, it's going to be a multitude that follow that false report. That's why he said it's only you that go down that straight and narrow road. This is your portion. Right? So again, let's go back to Exodus 28, verse 9. So it also had to be the example of how easy it was to keep the simple things. Because Israel kept failing at the basics. And the basics is truth. It's really just love, truth, and sincerity. No, I'm jumping down. Verse 9.
And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the...
Yeah, let's start this up. I'm sorry, yeah.
It shall have 2 shoulder pieces. Now this is speaking of the ephod, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thereof joined at the 2 edges thereof.
Come on.
And so it shall be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and of purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen.
Come on.
And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones.
2 onyx stones, right? Come on.
And grave on them the names of the children of Israel.
Stop. Why is onyx stones used to represent the 12 tribes of Israel? What does the onyx stone represent? Anybody know? Anybody know stones? Earth stones? The onyx stone represents absorption and the transferring of negative energy. So you got to understand, it also means emotional and physical strength. It means endurance. Right? Somebody give me Hebrews 4:14. I love Hebrews because Hebrews is directly talking to the Israelites. This is a direct message to the Israelites. Right?
The book of Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14.
Come on.
Seeing then that we have a great high priest
Come on.
that is passed into the heavens, Yahoshua, the son of Elohim, let us hold fast our profession.
Come on.
For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities,
Come on.
but was in all points tempted, like as we are, yet without sin.
Ooh, come on.
Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need.
So that's what that represented. That was a piece of it representing his emotional control. Through all that he went through, remember, onyx stone represents absorption and the transference of negative energy. He was able to take the negative things that was put upon him and absorb it and understand the purpose of why he had to absorb it. And he said it was, there had not been a priest, right? It said, we have not had a priest which could not be touched with the feeling of our infirmities. But up to that point, they never had a priest like that. So he was here to show them that y'all can do whatever you want. I'll tell you, like the elder said, you can do whatever you want to me. You can try anything you want to try. Ain't nothing gonna faze me. I know why I'm here. I know my purpose, right? That's why they said, therefore we come boldly unto the throne of grace. Because he did that for us. Ain't no way we should not do that for him. Because this is how we obtain mercy and grace. Yes.
And as well, why would he put these onyx stones on his shoulder? It represented the priest took on the burdens of Israel. You carry your burdens on your shoulders. Just like in the military, generals, the more rank they have, they'll have those little folded pieces of cloth or whatever. I forgot what you call them. But you actually they'll put their ranks, right?
Yep.
They'll actually put different stars or whatever it is, or maple leaves or whatever it is. And that represented their rank, but that actually put it on the shoulders mean that's how many men lives they carried on them. Right? Because all of those, whether it be general, colonel, or whatever, those were souls actually under his leadership that he was sent out to war. So in the case of Israel, the priest would have those six on one side and 6 on the other, right, representing when he goes into the Holy Land. I mean, when he goes into the holies of holies, he actually had the whole burden of the people on him, right? So.
Yeah, that's a perfect. That's why I said they know this book. Their whole armies is facilitated upon this book, just like this government is created upon this book. They knew the type of army we carry. See, the difference is they think they can create earthly armies when Yah has heavenly armies ready to protect those who are on earth for the goodness of the kingdom. Okay?
And this is that's why he said, take this yoke upon me and learn me, for my burden is light and my yoke is easy. We actually we carry the burdens of our brothers with us once we come in HaMashiach. We actually have the responsibility now. That's why we are brothers' keeper, because we carry the burdens of our brothers with us.
Yep.
That's why we're commanded to pray for our brothers, the brother that fall into sin. So we come into the priesthood, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Matthew 5:39. You get that from Mike. So he showed us emotional control, right? He also showed us physical control. Did he not? Let's see.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 39.
Come on.
But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also.
Because guess what? When he was showing that no matter what you do to me, I'm going to be me. I got a mission that I'm not going to let you get in the way of. So do what you got to do right now. Because no matter if you here or not, I'm going to get there. But you have a choice. Either you can be with me or you can be against me, but I'm going regardless. Right? James 1:12, right? So he showed us emotionally, showed us physical control, right? And most importantly, he taught us what? Endurance. How many can really think they can stand that beating that he took? How many? Risk the key question. How many are willing to take it? All y'all hands should have been up if you want to be honest. Because that's what he's called us to do, right? He said what? If they persecute you, understand they persecuted me first. James 1:12. Yes, please.
This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12.
Come on.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Blessed is he that endureth temptation. Come on.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
This is what's waiting for you at the end. Come on.
Which Adonai hath promised to them that love him.
Period. And what is love according to the scripture?
Keeping his commandments.
Come on, y'all. We ain't got to make this hard, do we? It just seems hard. But when you go outside yourself and stay in the spirit, none of this stuff matters. Clothing, issues, money, none of it matters when you're in the spirit. He said the spirit is like fine gold. Come on. Give me Hebrews 12:2.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 2.
Come on.
Looking unto Yahoshua, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross.
Endure what?
Endured the cross.
Didn't he say pick up your cross? Mm-hmm. Didn't he say pick up your cross? Because that cross is heavy. Understand? Very heavy. To the point you're going to have to put it on your shoulders. And you're the only one that can carry it. Ain't nobody going to help you. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to be a living sacrifice for Yah in this time? These are questions we have to really ask ourselves daily.
And he's actually asking for it. When he said take up your cross, he's actually saying die and follow me. He said whosoever find his life shall lose his life. But whosoever shall lose his life for my name's sake shall find it.
Hallelujah. Read 12 again. In verse 2.
Looking unto Yahoshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim.
Hallelujah. All praises. Let's get back to Exodus 28. Use that verse 10. Yeah.
And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth, with the work of an engraver in stone, like the engraving of a signet.
This was, you know what a signet is when you carry your name. Come on.
Shalt thou engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to set in the ouches of gold. And thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod.
Pay attention, come on.
For the stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahoshua upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial.
And that's what his mission was. That was his mission. To put in remembrance the name of Israel.
What did he come here for?
Let's get it. Matthew 15:24. Mike, you give me Matthew 15:24. Yaakov, you give me Matthew 10:5. Mike, you can go first.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24.
Come on.
But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That was his mission. Very clear. That was his mission. When he came in the flesh, that was his mission. Why did he come for the Goyim? Because he had to get Israel right before he could go into them. He had to say, it's just like with David. David had to get right before truly leading. And he gave Saul a chance, but Saul fell to evil. And see, let's point that out. When Saul started going evil, he passed on his blessings. And the same thing happened to all of us here. Yah has a purpose for you. Your purpose is not for you or your children. Your purpose is Yah's purpose that you're supposed to give to your children.
Okay.
That is called leaving an inheritance right there. Period. That was his mission. Understand this thing. He had to get his wife right before getting the other children right. If the wife wasn't right, how the wife will get the children right? Because the wife is the example of the husband. Come on now. Matthew 10.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahoshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles.
Come on.
And into the city of the Samaritans.
But go what? Come on.
Enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
This was the mission. He gave his disciples a pure mission. That was it. Because Israel had to get right first. He said to the Jew, then to the Gentile. But how are we going to sit here banging on the Gentiles when we still got iniquities within ourselves, even while on the street? Keep going out.
Verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Come on.
Heal the sick.
Come on.
Cleanse the lepers.
Come on.
Raise the dead.
Raise the spiritual dead. Come on.
Cast out devils.
Come on.
Freely you have received, freely give.
So how is it that we go out to the street and we have not taken the necessary steps to cleanse ourselves? These people he talk about, what did he tell you? Once they accepted their purpose, once they went through the fire and then went through the water, then they start being able to cast out devils. So my question is, if the water baptism is not supposed to be, why are you not casting out devils? Why are you not healing the sick? Not to say that the immersion do that, because you can still do that and still be evil. But there's still levels. That don't knock off the levels, right? It's just like a Christian. Well, we sin daily. Does that mean the law's done away with? No, you just ain't right. That's it. You just ain't got the heart to be right. Let's get to let's go back to Exodus 28.
Verse 12. Thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod, for the stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahoshua upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And thou shalt make ouches of gold, and the 2 chains of pure gold at the ends of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. And thou shalt make breastplate of judgment with cunning work, after the work of the ephod. Thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen. Thou shalt make it. 4 square it shall be, being double. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set it in the settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, the topaz, and carbuncle. These shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row, ligure, and agate, and amethyst. And the 4th row, a beryl, and an onyx, and jasper. They shall be set in gold.
These are the stones, Ligaki. These are the stones that represent each tribe. Like right here. I got a stone of jasmine. Represents the tribe of Benjamin. Each stone, and I would tell all y'all, whatever tribe you're from, go research what that stone represents. It's not to idolize the stone, but this stone represents characteristics that's within yourself and that tribe. Really. Understand where that stone comes from. The type of minerals that's around it. All these have a representation of us, because guess who came from the dirt? Adam. One thing you understand about melanin people is we carry the same minerals that plants do. Okay. That's why the original diet for us was a vegan diet, because you have to eat what you come from. We came from the plant. We came from the dirt. And those type of foods have what? Life. The same animals you eat what you're supposed to be eating, which is grass, right? Plants. So let's continue.
Got where we at? Was it 16?
No, you at 21.
Okay, and the stone shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of the wreathen work of pure gold.
Now stop. It said the chain shall be pure gold. We don't even think about gold is heavy. Only certain individuals going to be able to take on this burden. But where is this breastplate at? Close to his heart.
Okay.
This is the burden he would do for those who are close to his heart. Give me Mark 12, 24. You gotta understand, we was the most precious to Yahoshua. He loved us dearly, to the point that he allowed us to kill him and still ask the Father to forgive us. That is true love from a husband to his wife. Come on.
The book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 21.
Watch this.
And the second took her and died, neither left he any seed. And the third likewise. And the seventh had her, and left no seed. Last of all, the woman died also. And the resurrection, therefore, when they shall rise, whose wife shall she be of them? For the seventh had her to wife.
What book you in? Huh?
Mark
12, 24?
I'll read this
24. Sorry.
And Yahoshua answering, said unto them, do ye not therefore err, because ye know not the scriptures, neither the power of Elohim? For when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as angels which are in heaven.
Come on.
And as touching the dead, that they rise. Have ye not read in the book of Moshe, how in the bush Elohim spake unto him, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Ishak, and the Elohim of Jacob. He is not the Elohim of the dead, but the Elohim of the living.
Bring that out. Come on.
Ye therefore do greatly err. And one of the scribes came, having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Yahoshua answered him,
What's this?
the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel.
That's the first. You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to listen to the people's problems. You got to be able to discern and understand what you're doing. Come on.
Yehovah, our Elohim, is one. Yehovah. And thou shalt love Yehovah, thy Elohim, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment.
This is the first commandment. Not leaning onto your own understanding, but taking the scriptures as is. Not trying to create your own doctrine so you can build a crowd up, but to truly teach the word. Because understand, one thing I understand in this walk is this. A lot of the times, people follow the masses. And when I read scripture, that's not where Yahoshua was at. So now that's another key. You have to look and see and discern in the scripture. Yahoshua never followed the masses. He only dealt with a few. So now you have to look at your own surroundings and say, am I on the right path? Am I following the masses? This is where hearing and listening starts to happen. Come on.
And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. And the scribe said unto him, Well, Adonai, thou hast said the truth, for there is one Elohim, and there is none other but he.
Period. He kept the commandments. This was the burden. This is what was close to his heart. This is what was close to his heart. Yah and his brothers and sisters. And he was willing to pay the cost for us to live. Come on.
And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the soul, and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself, is more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices.
Did y'all just see that? He said this was more greater than even his sacrifice. This is what he wanted to. That's why he died, so we can start doing this. So we can start understanding this. He did that so we can come back to Yah, not to him, but to Yah. That was the sole purpose of Yahoshua coming. And we take it for granted. When we don't work and we don't do stuff for our people, and we not out there, or whatever way you serve the people that Yahoshua has ordained you to serve, his blood was shed in vain in that case. And you're going to have to be responsible for that vanity. Come on. Verse 34, you can start right there.
And Yahoshua saw that he answered discreetly, and he said unto him, Thou art not far from the kingdom of Elohim. And no man after that durst ask him any question.
So when you got these attributes in yourself, you follow these steps, I told you, you're not far from the kingdom. Yah is literally right across the door. He just waiting for you to put your hand on that handle, twist it, and open it up. And only he can allow you to do it. What he say? He said, can no man shut any door that I open, and no man can open any door that I shut. But in order for you to even open that, is your heart all right? Is it upright? Are you willing to turn and take the burdens of your people? Period. Can you give me Matthew 11 and 29, please? Yahushua. (11-29). Matthew 11 and... Matter of fact, just drop that. Give me 2 Timothy 4, 1 through 5. Timothy 4, 1 through 5.
The book, 2 Timothy, chapter 4. I charge thee, therefore, before Elohim, in the Adonai, Yahoshua, Mashiach, Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom.
This is also the purpose of taking on the breastplate of judgment. Come on.
Preach the word and be instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine.
Come on. Why? Come on.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
Because people want to take on these titles and will not be able to endure it.
But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers.
So now they're going to create these doctrines that's going to attract the people. Something not so quite Christianity, but something relatable. Come on.
Having itching ears.
Having itching ears. Come on.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things. Endure afflictions.
Endure affliction.
Do the work of evangelists.
Come on.
Make full proof of thy ministry.
Make full proof of thy ministry. And what was the ministry of Aaron? The priesthood. Nazareth. This is the burden of Yahoshua and those who follow him. Ask yourself, are you willing to take on that burden? Let's go back to Exodus 28.
Exodus chapter 28, verse 25. And the other two ends of the two wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the two ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate, in the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And the 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod, with the lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loose from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial before the Lord, before Yahoshua continually.
Stop right there. What does Aaron mean? Because even in names it's prophesied. Aaron, Aharon, right? The Strong's number is H175. The meaning of Aaron is, I will be exalted or lifted up. Anybody know what does David mean? Beloved. So you got to understand that for the people who took, remember he got the kingship, right? And the priesthood. So to understand this, you got to understand even what the names mean. This is what I received through the prophecy of these names. And they who took on these big burdens and these robes, right? So what I got was, the prophecy I got through these names was Yahoshua was the beloved son of the Father, who was exalted and lifted up for the sacrifice he gave for the children of Israel, through the blood that he gave that attached us back to the covenant Yah made with our forefathers. See, what you got to understand about Hebrew is your Hebrew name not only represents you and your characteristics, but it has a prophecy about you. So when he took on the original people who took on these positions, he also took their names. So through this, you got to understand David, you got to understand Aaron, and even Levi. And I guarantee once you get done with those stories, you'll see that these people were prophesying about Yahoshua and Yahoshua. Because David had what? He had a heart for Yah. Levi and Aaron took on the burdens of the people. And there's only one person who could fulfill both of those roles. And that's who? Yahoshua. Right? So let's get back to Exodus 28.
Exodus 28, verse 27.
Nah, this is about to get real deep. Watch this. Come
And
on.
the 2 rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, and toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod, with the lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loose from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial before Yahoshua continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before Yahoshua. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before Yahoshua continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod olive blue, and there shall be an hole in the top of it, and in the midst thereof it shall have a binding of woven work around about the hole of it. It is where the hole of the habergeon, that it be not rent. And beneath, upon the hem of it, thou shalt make pomegranates of blue and of purple and of scarlet round about the hem thereof, and the bells of gold between them round about.
What does that mean? Why a pomegranate has fringes? Why a pomegranate? Why not any other fruit?
Seeds?
Yeah, a bunch of seeds in there.
How many? 613.
Oh,
613 laws, 613 seeds in the pomegranate. These seeds also represents the stars of heaven, which who was represented as the stars of heaven? Israel. Matthew 13, verse 37 and 38. Crazy, ain't it? Right. You definitely gotta get a pomegranate.
You're going to the bells?
I didn't go that deep on it. You want to go on there?
what's that?
Huh? There was bells and
It was
pomegranate.
like actual.
The bells is in between the pomegranate.
Yeah.
What's the same with like tassels?
No, these are actual bells.
These actual bells. They will move. You will hear the priest. Because if the priest will offer up and he was in sin, and you didn't hear them bells moving in there, they put a cord, a rope around him. So they literally, if he died in there, they'll literally have to pull him out of the tabernacle because nobody else is allowed in there. But the bells was the only way to know he was alive.
Yep.
So they would literally have to go in there strapped up.
But also those bells represent the coming of the saints.
The judgments, right?
Crazy, ain't it? Matthew 13, 37.
Book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse
37. Let's see these seeds. Come on.
Verse 37. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom.
This is the seed that was in the pomegranates. The children of the kingdom. This is the seed of Yahoshua. Come on.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
And you know, if you know anything about pomegranate, that boy is tough. It's a tough and firm fruit. Come on. Oh, you can start right there. Mark 25. Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 34. So you gotta understand, those seeds that's represented in the pomegranate is the children of the kingdom. Now, why didn't it say, I know this, I can go too deep on this. Why didn't it say the children of Israel? Go there. Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and 25.
Mark, right?
Mark, yes, I'm sorry. Mark 5 and 25.
Book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 25.
I want you to see this is how important these garments was. This is how holy they were.
And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse.
So this woman had an issue for 12 years. No physician could help her. Nobody, no man could help her, and it just grew worse. Come on.
When she heard of Yahoshua, came in, pressed behind, and touched his garment.
Touch his what?
His garment.
His fine linen. Come on.
For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
Keep going.
And Yahoshua, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about and pressed.
Stop right there. So you understand, when you touch him, when you come into him, and you go out and you want to go back to the world, you literally are taking a piece of him away. You're taking his virtue. This is why I said that's why he made that scripture specifically, those who are lukewarm. Because you're not about to keep playing with me. You're not about to keep taking pieces of me and not putting more back in. That's not how this works. And so this is what happened when that woman touched his garment. She took a piece of him and was whole. Come on.
And Yahoshua, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, Who touched my clothes? And the disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing.
Watch this. Come on.
But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell upon before him and told him all the truth.
So she humbled herself. Come on.
And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague.
Period. When you humble yourself, and what she was doing, she said she was seeking him. She like, yo, I gotta find him. I gotta find him because he here healing people. Spiritually, how many of us have that type of faith? Of somebody we've never seen. A lot of us struggle internally. Even though we don't admit it, we struggle trying to figure out if this is the truth or not. Straight up.
Just a question. Does anybody know what that hem was they touched? He touched? You know? They're fringes, right? And just for those who may not know, who may be listening, if you have any questions, if a Christian should ask you, you gotta understand that Mashiach was a Jew. He was a Hebrew. He was a Judite from the line of David. And so he wore the garments. And so when you look at the meaning of that, it means kraspadan. The extremely prominent part of a thing, the edge, the skirt, a margin, the fringe of a garment. In the NT, a little appendage hanging down from the edge of the mantle or the cloak made of twisted wool. So he wore fringes. So don't let a Christian come and tell you that he did not, and what made him, the fact that he was sinless, and when she touched the hem of his garment, is she touched the actual righteousness of Yah. She knew he was the Mashiach. So when she touched his fringes, he knew he was holy. He was sinless. He was blameless. So when he said, who touched me? You got to think. He was so connected to the garments. She didn't touch his skin. She said he touched the hem of his garment. So he exuded righteousness even in his clothes. So the fringes are, it means, but it's the man in the fringes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at that from a whole nother perspective. And he said, virtue left me. He was touched. You know what I mean? He said, hold on, who touched me? And he said, hold on. All these people thronging you. He said, nah, somebody touched me. And how do you touch them? You touch them by faith. It was her faith that made her whole. You know, that's the only thing that pleased Yah is faith. If you don't have faith, you might as well not even get in this walk. If you don't believe these scriptures, you might as well leave it alone.
And that even goes to the scripture, faith without works is dead, right? Because Christians teach faith. It's just the faith. It's just the faith, right? But through faith, you do works. And if we say we believe in Yahoshua, that means we believe in his works. Therefore, we will follow in his footsteps. Okay? Sirach 25 and 12. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 12. Now watch this. Just to cue that. Just to even go further what you said.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He said this woman, she grabbed his hem, meaning she was doing what? Cleaving. Watch this.
Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 25 and 12.
Come on.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of his love.
Woo.
And faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him.
That's the faith. You got to cleave unto him.
That was beautiful. That was a hit.
You got to cleave unto him. And through cleaving, your love grows. And the love is, again, what? Do we got to make this hard? Not at all. Not at all. Let's get back to Exodus. We almost done.
Exodus chapter 28, verse 33.
35.
35. And it shall be, did we read the bell upon bell?
Yeah.
Okay. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sounds shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place before Yahoshua, and when he cometh out, that he die not.
And that's what you just said. This is how we know who's about this walk. Right? This was the heavy burden of such a walk. If you think about everything that he was putting on, from the rings that was gold, to the chain that was gold, to the ephod, to the breastplate, this was a heavy burden upon his neck. That's why he said, what? Take my yoke. This is much easier. Right? Keep going. Michael, can you give me Revelations 14:1?
And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, engrave upon it, like the engravings of the signet, holiness to Yahoshua. And thou shalt put it on a blue lace, and make that it may be upon the mitre. Upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be.
Watch this. Come on.
And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead.
What shall be upon Aaron's forehead? Come on.
And Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before Yahoshua.
And what was on the forehead? Holiness to Yahuwah. Right? Quadesh El Ha Yahuwah. Revelations 14:1.
Book of Revelations, chapter 14, verse 1. And I looked, and behold, a lamb stood on Mount Sinai.
Come on.
And with him 144,000.
Right.
Having his father's name written in their foreheads.
Who?
His father's name written in their foreheads.
Come on.
And I heard a voice from heaven, as a voice of many waters, and as a voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps.
Stop right there. This is what the example, that was the physical example of having Yah's name on your forehead. And only who can obtain it? The righteousness of saints. Right? Revelations 22, verse 1. So this is the goal. This is the form we want to take on. We want to be considered his saints, not just vessels anymore. We want to be the ones considered to have those white, fine linen garments. The ones who have the burden of, I would take the burden of our nation for the kingdom's sake. Because I know the kingdom is eternity. This life isn't. We care too much of the things of this world when they perish away. We buy $300 shoes that only last 3 or 5 years. We buy purses that only last maybe 5 years. 2, depending on how much you use it. We lease cars that's not even ours, just to give it back and still owe money on it. These are the things that perish, but the kingdom is what lasts forever. Bring it up.
Revelations chapter 22, verse 1. And he shewed me a pure river of water,
Come on.
clear as a crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
Now watch this.
And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their forehead.
In their what?
In their forehead.
In their what?
In their forehead.
This is the righteousness and the clothing that we are seeking. This was This was part of the garments of Aaron. The name of Yah was written in their forehead. This is what we're seeking in this time. Period. So right now, of course, we can't get them. We have to spiritually have them. Watch this. I'm going to tell you why. Ephesians 6. I wasn't even going to go there. Ephesians 6. This is what his garment represents. I'm going to show you the whole moral, the whole matter of his garment is this. Watch this. Ephesians 6. Start at 10.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahoshua and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim.
This is the armor that Aaron put on. This is the armor Yahoshua put on. Come on.
That he may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Come on.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Because who was in the wilderness with Yahoshua when he fasted 4 days and 40 nights? Hashatan. Right? And he said, put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Because as soon as you put this on, he said, my son, prepare thy soul for temptation. And when the devil, when he dropped down to his knees because he was getting weary from fasting, the devil whispered in his ears and said, cast yourself down. He took on this before going into the wilderness. Right? You don't need physical bread. The Spirit shall quicken you, right? The Spirit shall fill you up. Come on.
But against principalities, against powers, against rulers, against the darkness of this world.
Come on.
Against spiritual wickedness
Against
in high
what?
places.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places. Come on.
Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohim.
Come on.
That you may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth.
Having on what?
Having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Having on taking the burden of your people. This is not talking about a physical armor. This is a spiritual armor. And everything that was on Aaron's garment represents the spiritual things and the purpose of that. And if you don't have this on, the devil should get you every time. You should fall into sin every time. You should fall by the wayside every time. Because you didn't come correct to Yah. He came correct to you by letting you know who you were. He gave you the whole entire truth. And now you want to hold back once you come in. Nah. You have no protection.
I'm sorry. The biggest lie of the church says, they'll tell you, oh, the Bible says come as you are. It's not in the scripture.
Not at all.
It's not in the scripture. He said any man that's going to come to Yah must first believe that he is Yah, and he's a rewarder of those that diligence. So you got to come already with faith. That's shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel. Gird your loins with truth. Put on the breastplate of righteousness. Put on the helmet of salvation. Right? The shield of faith. So you got to be armed to even get in and even begin this walk.
So these next two scriptures are for those who say, I accept this challenge. I accept this walk. Matthew 5:10. If you're one of those people who say, I accept the challenge that Yahoshua put before us, I accept my part, my portion, I accept the burden of my people, this is for you. Matthew 5:10.
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
Come on.
Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you, falsely for my sake.
And this is the purpose of having the armor on. Because none of that stuff will faze you. People are going to talk about you. They're going to make false reports about you. They're going to cast your name out. They're going to do all the things. They're going to even try to physically abuse you and persecute you. Just because they think by physically killing you that they could kill your spirit that you won't get to Yah. But then Yah said that's not the case. He said, blessed are they that do that to you. He blessed are they who this happens to. Period. You cannot close what door that Yah has opened. I believe it was in Sirach when it's talking about when people shall see people persecuted, right? I'm paraphrasing. You should see people persecuted and going through things and these trials and tribulations, and we look at that like, man, that's that. I wish that wouldn't happen. I wish they wasn't going through that. But he said the righteous shall understand and be at peace through it all. Even when they die, they should be at peace. So when you got this armor on, this physical stuff don't matter. Do what you will. Stab me, shoot me. Write a false report about me. It don't matter. Yah is what matters. Having my name written in his book is what matters. Me receiving that crown of life and those fine linen is what matters to me. What you say about me in this life don't matter. This is a self-check for us. When we say we want to take on this garment, we want to take on Aaron's garments. That's a heavy burden to carry. John 15, verse 19. I think so. No, you're not. You're not there.
The book of John, chapter 15, verse 19. If ye were of the world would love his own.
So if you was of the world, if you wasn't of God, you would be good. This is why you have to understand who you're dealing with. How is it everybody love you? How is everybody just not even love? Because we understand what love is. How is everybody is boasting your ego? How is everybody feeding you all these things? But when it comes to those who truly doing the work, he said you're going to be persecuted. Even your own people going to hate you. Even your own people is going to despise you and cast you out. This is how you start discerning who's the right people to follow. Something ain't right. Out of 100,000 people, these 20 people got some type of sort of right doctrine, but because there's so many people over here, I'm gonna go over here. That's where the love is. I miss my family in the world, so I'm gonna go where there's more people at. Nah, this is a lonely walk. And if you truly in the spirit, none of this stuff even matters. You good. But he will attract those who have the same goal for the kingdom. Okay?
Okay.
All right, come on, bring it up. John 15, 19.
But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Adonai.
So you want to come serve the king? You want to come serve Yahoshua? Come on.
If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also.
So those, if they did it to me, don't expect anything less than what they did to me. But understand this also. If they keep my sayings, what you tell them, if it's in a righteous manner, they shall keep also. Right? He gave the apostles powers, did he not? They were doing the works he was doing. Did he not say that in the last day they shall have greater works than me? Come on now. So this is for those who say they follow Yahoshua. This is the burden you have to bear. You have to bear the iniquities of the people, period. Just like Aaron did, and just like Yahoshua did. Hallelujah. Exodus, get back to Exodus, use at 39. Right? So this was prophesied. This is prophesied. The making of the holy garments was the prophecy of Yahoshua. And the prophecy of those who wanted to take on that same position. Come on.
And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen. Mm-hmm. And thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen. And thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons thou shalt make coats. And thou shalt make for them girdles and bonnets. Shalt thou make for them for glory and for beauty.
Hallelujah. Give me Revelations 21, 22. Yeah, Revelations 21, verse 22. So this is the glory and beauty that we're seeking right now. What we go through now, we shall be rewarded in the end. That's the sole purpose. We can't be like we were in the world. Now, I need it now. I need it now. I need to see it now. No. That's what faith truly is. A substance of things not seen. Right? Bring it up.
Revelation.
21.
Chapter 21, verse 22.
Come on.
And I saw no temple therein. For Yahoshua, Elohim, Almighty, and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it. For the glory of Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof.
Understand, when you start walking in this walk, you don't need a temple right now, because you are the living temple of Yahoshua. And he said, once you start doing these things, start living uprightly, there's no need for darkness within you, because the sun is going to shine bright. Come on.
And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
Hallelujah. You got to understand, till the kingdom come, you are the temple. Therefore, you can't let anything or anybody that may defile it in. You should only be around like-minded people who are on the same path as you. Because if you let somebody in and they infiltrate it, that's on you. He told you, if you're going to take this, you got to have the discernment of good and bad. So understand, when you start really walking like this and taking on these burdens, you have to be very careful who you touch and who you be around. Because they can easily infiltrate you, and guess who gone? Yahoshua ain't going to be there for you now. Because you allow something bad to enter into you. So until the kingdom come, we have to treat ourselves as the temple. And those around us as the temple. So with that, you got to even be careful with yourself. If you know you're not right, you're not doing good, you got to be careful. Because you could be infiltrating somebody who is doing good. Hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get back to Exodus.
And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness, from the loins even unto the thighs. Right. They shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons. Right. When they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister unto the holy place, hallelujah, that they bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed.
Hallelujah. So what are the steps? You have to be consecrated, right? Sanctified and anointed. So for consecrated, we're going to do this real quick. 1 Timothy 5:7. Michael, you give me Acts 10 and 47. You give me 1 John 5:6. So this is for consecration. Come on.
1 Timothy 5, verse 7. And these things give in charge, that they may be blameless.
That they be what?
Blameless.
Come on.
But if any provide not for his own,
come on,
especially for those of his own house,
come on,
he have denied the faith.
You have denied the faith and been what?
And is worse than an infidel.
And worse than an infidel. So if you can't take care of yourself, and you can't take care of your family, which is your first ministry, you're not fit yet. You're not ready to be a minister to the nation. Because once you take on that, you got your family to take care of and the people. And that's a heavy load. That is a heavy, heavy load to take on. But the first thing he said, you have to be blameless. You got to be blameless. Which goes with consecrate. To be consecrated, you have to be what? Set apart. You got to be holy. You got to be different than the rest. And it's not up for man to decide. But by your works, man shall see it, though. Next step was sanctified, which has to do with water. It also has to do with being sanctified through the water. Okay? Acts 10 and 47.
The book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 47. Can any man forbid water?
Can any man what?
Can any man forbid water?
Come on.
That these should not be baptized, which have received the Ruach HaKodesh, as well as we.
Can any man forbid water? How many of us forbidden water now? Because through the water, the baptism, he said you receive what? The Ruach HaKodesh. So you got people who deny these things. They're not receiving the spirit of Yah. They're receiving the spirit of their elder and teacher. They're receiving the spirit of man. Because the word is contrary to that. Right? 1 John 5 and 6.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 6.
Come on.
This is he that came by water and blood.
No, stop it. He didn't come by water.
He did.
No, that's just... That was man's seed.
It says, this is he that came by water and blood.
Come on.
Even Yahoshua HaMashiach, not by water only, but by water and blood.
Hallelujah. Come on.
And it is the Ruach that beareth witness, because the Ruach is true. For there are three that bear record in heaven.
Now, I need y'all to pay attention. Very clear. For those who may be unsure about immersion. Come on.
The Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh.
So the Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh, which is spiritual, right? The Father, the Word is Yahoshua, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Come on.
And these three are one.
Now, mind you, he said these three will bear record where? In heaven, the Shamayim. So what will bear record of those on earth? Let's see. Come on.
Verse 8. And there are three that bear witness in earth.
Hold on now, come on.
The Ruach.
The Ruach.
And the water.
No, they don't say that, Aki.
It's Kool-Aid.
Come on.
And the blood.
So hold on. Now the teaching is that the washing of the water, the immersion, is the spirit. The word. But ain't the word considered the spirit? Did this not put a division between the spirit and the water?
Yeah. Clearly said word and water.
Let's read it again.
Verse 8. And there are three that bear witness in earth. The Ruach and the water and the blood. And these three agree in one.
And these three agree in one. There's levels to this. There is spiritual and physical, as he put it, heavenly and earthly levels to this. Third thing was what? You must be anointed. Right? Get Acts 10:36 for me. You got to be anointed. What is another way of saying anointed? Chosen, but new beginnings. When you become anointed, you start a new beginning. Right? Acts 10:36.
Acts 10, verse 36.
Come on.
The word which Elohim sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahoshua HaMashiach, he is Adonai of all. That word, I say, ye know, which was published throughout all Judea, and begin from Galilee after the baptism, which Yahoshua preached. How Elohim anointed Yahoshua of Nazareth with the Ruach HaKodesh and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for Elohim was with him.
Understand this. Once you become anointed, the Ruach HaKodesh is upon you. And remember that power represents the crown. That represents the spiritual crown is upon you, that you are going to be the one who helps guide the people. That's
good. Let me add to that.
Come on.
That was good. Because crown represents authority. And if you have, if your power comes from another, if that authority is coming from the Shamayim, or what we know as heaven, then he has authority over the elements. He has authority over he's above the laws that controls nature. So he can heal. So literally, if we take on his nature and we receive crowns, we actually have the crowns to govern the supernatural.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's keep going.
And we are witnesses of all things which he did, both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree.
Come on.
Him, Elohim, raised up the third day and showed him openly,
Come on.
Not to all the people,
but what?
But unto witnesses.
But unto who?
Witnesses.
Understand, when he was on earth in the flesh, they still did not see that he was the Messiah. They still could not see these things. So when people read this Bible, which he came in a volume of book, and they can't understand certain things, it's because they have scales over their eyes. Okay. Only the chosen will be able to see the prophecies and the mysteries in this book. You can read this 100 times, but if your spirit ain't right, you'll never get it. You'll never get it. Right? Come on.
Chosen before of Elohim, even to us, who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead.
Come on.
And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of Elohim
to be what?
To be the judge of quick and dead.
This is why he came back to be humble, because we're not fit to be judges right now. We are not fit to judge others. We are not even in the right ruach to judge others as a nation. Remember, he didn't judge us individually. He judged us as a nation. We're not in that place. We're not in our own land. We're not under our own rulership. So when people around here judging you, that's not of Yah. Because he told you if somebody offended you, you feel some type of way, it's a couple things you need to do. If somebody offended you, you go to that person. Right? You try to reason with that person. Right? Or if it's your enemy, just turn the other cheek. Be humble about it. I had to take it, so do you. And these are the things we are challenged today, because we don't understand really the example he set for us, even before he touched the earth. So people take on these positions not really understanding what they're taking on. You got to be a humble servant. A humble servant to do that. I said servant, not judge. Not king, because we ain't kings right now. You got to be a humble servant right now. Period.
To him give all the prophets witness that through his name, whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins.
And just believe in him, that means you truly believe in everything he represented. Period. 2 Corinthians 1:20. And then, Michael, give me 2 Timothy 3:16. Not yet.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 20. For ye suffer, if a man bring you into bondage.
What verse you at?
20? You say 20? Chapter 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20.
Okay. For all the promises of Elohim in him are yea, and in him amen, unto the glory of Elohim by us. Now he which establishes us with you in Hamashiach and have anointed us is Elohim, who have also sealed us and given the earnest of the Spirit in our heart.
Come on.
Moreover, I call Elohim for a record upon my soul, that to spare you I came not as yet unto Corinth. Not for that we have dominion over your faith, but are helpers of your joy. For by faith ye stand.
Period. That is your sole purpose, to be a helper of Yah. Period. And through that, he seals you. He seals you and gives you a piece of the Spirit. Simple. And he's the one that's going to bear record of your works, not man. So it's not about pleasing man. And that could be a struggle for us at times, especially when you see our brothers is out here on YouTube or whatever the case is. But it's not about that. And we can't get caught up in that. It's bigger than that. Understand? Okay?
Okay.
So let's end with this. So we understand that it's the word that identifies our purpose. It's Yah who identifies our place and what position we hold within this nation. 2 Timothy 3:16. We're going to end right here.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim.
Come on.
And is profitable for doctrine, for reproof,
yes,
for correction, for instruction in righteousness. that the man of Elohim may be perfect.
Maybe what?
May be perfect.
Wasn't Abraham perfect? Right?
Okay.
Wasn't Job perfect? Noah perfect? Come on.
Truly furnished unto all good works.
Because you got to get furnished. You got to go through the fire and still be perfect. Ain't that about something, right? Come on. Hallelujah, man.
Can I share one more scripture?
Yes.
This is Ephesians 3 and 3. How that by revelation he made unto me the mystery, as I wrote afore in a few words, whereby when ye read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Hamashiach, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by his Ruach. And this goes with your lesson and understanding the garments of Aaron, that all these things are mysteries, but through submission through Yahoshua to Abba, we can literally begin to decode this book.
Yes.
And we can literally begin to see the revelation and the mystery that is hid from others, that even goes far as blaspheming against Yahoshua and not understanding that he is the redemption of Israel. He is that priest, you know. So we're blessed that we have received the priest. The one priest that entered one time and ain't gonna do it again. Ain't no more chances after this for Israel. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So with that, let's give all praise to Yah, man. All praise to Yah. And truly the example he sent us in Yahoshua. And I want to point out somebody else too, is John the Baptist. He said, besides himself, he was one of the greatest men in the world, even up to the least in the heavens. And he don't got no book written about him. Understand this? Because this man was just about servitude. That's it. He was a regular man, and he just wanted to serve Yah. So understand, this is our purpose of being here. He used Aaron. He used the tabernacle of an existence of a kingdom and of a king of Israel. A true king, right? A true king and high priest. So we have to look at this and really start dissecting, why are these people written in this book? What were the examples they were supposed to be for? And I guarantee at the end of each person's story, you will find that they refer back to the Messiah. Even down to Esther. Case in point, she had to be used to infiltrate a king and his kingdom, which saved the whole nation of Israel, right? And those within those gates. Yahoshua had to end up going to sit with the kings and the high priests and all these other people who was trying to kill him. And then he died in front of everybody. He was using an example to save the nation. And this is a woman, by the way. So he uses us to be examples of the reflection of the kingdom. But if you're not willing to submit yourself in total, he won't use you. And you can't sit here and wonder why he's not using you, because he gave you right here examples of how to be used. All right, so we're going to open the floor up with any questions. You got a question? Huh? Is there a way you know if you're a priest or not? I would say this, and I'm only going from my understanding. Anybody else can answer this. Only people who can truly be priests are those of the lineage of the Levites. That's my understanding. You got a different understanding?
Well, under the priesthood, when Mashiach fulfilled his role as the Redeemer of Israel, he started a new priesthood.
Right.
Right? He started a new priesthood. Now, that doesn't mean the Levitical priesthood won't be restored. But all of the children of Israel was considered a royal priesthood. Mm-hmm. But it's our works and what we do that ministers to the other nations.
Yes.
So, but the Levites themselves were priests to Israel, where we are priests to the nations.
Yes.
Right? And where we minister through our works We minister through the good things we do by following this example of Yahoshua. So everybody in here, we're under a royal priesthood. We're all priests. But we're not necessarily ordained to literally do the steps of the priesthood.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
So that specific role is regarding Aaron, like you said, that was specifically gave to a certain tribe. As far as the understanding of what an actual, just a priest or a minister, like a Kohen, a minister, he did ordain us to be that. To be a teacher to the nation. But as far as within Israel, I'm not talking about the world, I'm talking about within, like you said, within Israel, there's only a certain group that could do that. And Yahoshua was the exception. Because he was the Messiah of Israel. Understand? Any other questions? Any questions? All right. And with that, we'll close it out. Can we give another round of applause to Yahoshua? With that, again, Toda again for y'all coming out and definitely supporting us and fellowshipping with us. We hope that y'all do come back. Hope y'all enjoyed the lesson. And with that, to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad the full corner of the earth, we would like to say shalom.
Shalom.